Hey YouTube, this is a video I've wanted to do for a little while now. This is going to show you how to play lines over different chord qualities but keep the same shape and context of the line. What this really did for me was illustrate how music theory can help you become a more detailed and specific improviser. The gist of this video is just going to be taking this line and hearing what that sounds like over what I would consider to be the 5 main chord qualities. The way you just heard it was over a D minor 7th chord. Let's just have a look at that. So we have the flat 3rd and the flat 7th, so the line corresponds to that chord, as well as the Dorian mode. So now let's take a step back and have a look at what I consider to be the 5 main chord qualities. So we have a major 7th chord. The scale is just a major scale. And then if we were to take that line or that shape and then play it over a major 7th chord, you're going to hear it sounds a lot happier and just has a totally different vibe to it. Let's check out what that line sounds like over a dominant 7th chord. So we have our arpeggio, which is root, 3rd, 5th, and flat 7th. Then our scale, which is using the Mixolydian mode. And if we were to play the line over this sound, it's going to sound like this. So you see there, again, similar shape, but different vibe and a different sound. So now since we already did the minor 7th chord, which was the 3rd chord quality that I mentioned of the 5 most important chord qualities to know, we're going to jump ahead to the 4th one I said, which was the D half diminished chord. So arpeggiating that, we have root, flat 3rd, flat 5th, flat 7th. And the most commonly associated mode with a half diminished chord is the Locrian mode. So we're going to be playing D Locrian, which is essentially an E flat major scale starting on the note D. Now, if we are to take the line and put it into this Locrian sound, you can hear the benefits immediately of just knowing how to take this information and utilize the music theory behind changing it to adapt it to a half diminished chord. Check this out. So there you can hear it's more of like a mischievous sound and has a darker tone to it for sure because of all those flatted intervals happening. The 5th of the 5 important chord qualities I mentioned is a fully diminished chord. For that, we're going to arpeggiate a fully diminished 7th chord, root, flat 3rd, flat 5th, double flat 7th. And the scale we're going to use is the fully diminished scale, and this is actually an 8-note scale, and it uses the intervals whole, half step, all the way up from D all the way up to the top. So now if we put the line into this sound, it's going to sound like this. So all 5 of these lines sound very different. Let's check out what they sound like back to back. So using this information is a way to get a lot of mileage out of the vocabulary that you already have as an improviser. Now what I'm going to do is play the same line over each chord quality, but improvise the rest of a phrase over that particular chord. Some things will change because I have to make sure to be fitting what I'm playing into that formula of that mode and those chord tones. Dominant 7th, Minor seventh. Half diminished seventh. And fully diminished. If this process is interesting to you, or you've tried doing this in the past and you just can't come up with anything to play, that's completely fine. It'll take a little bit of time to develop these connections and to get more fluency with whatever your language is for each particular chord. The good news is, 3 years ago, I created a resource that utilizes a ton of different chord qualities. The 5 that are mentioned, including a few more, it shows 10 different lines in all 12 keys over all of these different chord qualities. So check that out in the link below. If you use the code SKYouTube, you will get 20% off of that resource. If you're interested in more information regarding this method, I have a free course online that I'm calling the Routine Improvement System. And within that course, I actually take an idea like this and I put it through the entire chord progression to Miles Davis's 4. Utilizing this process, you can see how it works over a particular chord progression and start to get some ideas on how you can use this in your practice sessions. I also have a course called Vocabulary Builders where I take 10 different pieces of vocabulary and apply them to 10 really common and well-known standards so that you can start to utilize this process with different pieces of language other than the one that we just played through. Hopefully you get a lot out of this method. I know for me this was just an awesome revelation, especially when I started applying it to diminished chords and applying minor language to major chords and major language to minor chords. You can do all of this and it has the potential to all work out in a super cool way if you take the time to put the pieces of that puzzle into the right place. If you thought this was an interesting video, please like and subscribe, and feel free to share this video with anybody that you thought might be interested in this information. Stand by for more educational improv content.